Welcome to the Recon Trader. In today's video, I will share with you a live trade I'm looking at executing on 1-inch token on the 1 hour candle on KuCoin Exchange, and I've been alerted to a bullish engulfing candle. That's one of my counterattack indicators that I utilize. And as you can see, this candle is engulfing this previous red candle. And I always require confirmation. I don't go off of just one indicator. And in this case, part of my confirmation is this candle needs to close above this purple line, which is the 9 EMA. And I also want to see the RSI above 40, which is this level here. And we are actually approaching 50s. And so I have my confirmation from the other two indicators. And I'm just waiting for this last 6 minutes to tick off to confirm that this is going to be a bullish engulfing candle. Now, with that being said, we'll jump over to my trading terminal, and I use Bitscap for my trading terminal. And I already did a bunch of recon. I was looking at around the 371 range for an entry, and I enabled the take profit feature, and I have it set up at 1.5%, 2.5%, and 3.5%. I like to scale out of these type of trades. And a lot of times what I'll do, if I hit the 1.5 and the 2.5, I'll move my stop loss, which is this blue line here. I'll move that stop loss up to the 1.5 or even the 2.5 range, depending on how quickly the price action is moving. And as I mentioned, I do have a stop loss. I have that enabled down here, and you'll see my stop loss is 1%. And so I'm looking at approximately a 1 to 2.5% risk versus reward ratio. Now, another thing I use for confirmation is the order book or the level 2s. And in this case, I want to see a lot of green on the recent trades, which we're seeing. And I also want to look at the actual ask and bids. And is there any big resistance to reaching my next levels? Now, do I have that support pushing up? And I have similar support, if you look at the bid side, pushing up. So if these keep stepping up and I can get these to lift, then we should see the movement I'm looking for. And so this is starting to look like a go. And now we're starting to get a little pullback. So I'll more than likely put my limit order in at the 371 level once we get the new candle to fire off. And we've got about 3 minutes left for that to happen. And this pullback doesn't actually concern me. This has run up quite a bit. And one of the reasons I have my profit set at where I have it set is there's quite a bit of resistance up in the 384, 385, 386 area. Especially if you look back here, we saw resistance before it sold off. So setting your profit targets above this resistance, you may never accomplish that. So on this style trade, I want to make sure I can squeeze my profit out of the zone between where I enter and resistance. And that is why my upper target for profit is at 3.5% or 3.84. And if we look at the chart, this 386 hits the top of all these wicks. Now I could drop another line in at around 382, and that's going to be at the top of most of those candles. So those are areas you could target for your top end profit. We've got 30 seconds left, and this looks like it's going to be a go. And so we're getting ready to pull the trigger here. And so now I'm going to pull the trigger. Got the order placed. I'm actually at the top of the line for my order. And you can see my buy order is in place on my open orders. I also have 3 different bots running. Now you might ask, why did I bid the 371 versus maybe 372? It's not uncommon after one of those engulfing candles to have a bit of a pullback at the beginning of the next candle. And we saw a little bit of the last price sold was 371, but only a fraction of my order got filled. All right, a little more of my order has been filled. And at this point, it is all about patience. I'm not raising my price to try to get filled. I'm just letting the action come to me. A lot of traders fail because they lack patience, they also lack discipline, and they lack confidence in their plan. And in this case, you'll see a lot of traders bump up their price to try to meet the ask price to get their order 100% filled. They lack the discipline to hold the line. And flat out, they don't have confidence in their battle plan. Therefore, all those other factors they're willing to tweak, where in reality, that in the long run will get you killed. And if the price decides to run up from here, I'm actually fine with that. It means I had the right call on. I just might not have got my order filled. And therefore, the battle plan was sound. And I at least have just over a third of my order filled. So I'll at least have opportunities for some profit. And they are starting to walk the price up. You can tell by the activity that's going on over here. They are trying to push this price up. Now, I'm not going to sweat this out. I'm actually going to show you guys another trade I'm keeping an eye on another monitor. I'll drag that over here. And that is on ETH. I'm looking at an opportunity here where we have a lot of resistance at 1600, and it could be setting up for one of my shoot and loot trades. And what that would require is my shoot and loot trades. I look at structure and typically the breach of that structure, and then at that point I will consider a quick entry going with momentum. And in this case, if we were to breach the 1600 level, I would go ahead and jump on the momentum and look for like a quick shoot and loot 1% profit. Now, with that being said, I can flip that just as quickly. And if we come up into this 1600 and I see a rejection, a red candle developing, same thing. I'll go short and shoot and loot for a 1% gain. And so I'm keeping an eye on this possibility as well. It's not uncommon for me to have a couple or maybe 3 or 4 trades on at the same time that I'm having to manage. Now, granted, using the BitScap dashboard, there's not as much for me to have to manage. I basically place my order and already have my take profits and stop losses already determined. And so with that being said, I'm now free to look at other charts and other possibilities of engagement. And that's the time frame I would really be looking at this to work. And on the 1 minute time frame, I actually need the price to be above the purple line again, which is going to be my 9 EMA as we go up. And I also like to see a candle like this pull back into the 9, bounce off, pull back into the 9, bounce off. That type of movement as we approach the 1600 mark would give me more confidence on placing this trade. And as you can see, the 1 minute is doing what I was talking about, a push up over the 9 EMA and then coming back, touching and bouncing basically off of the 9 EMA as we work our way towards this 1600 level. And I'm really going to look for that break on the 1600 level for the shoot and loot trade. And again, when we were on the 1 hour chart, the 1600 level was structure, which is what I'm looking for with a shoot and loot trade in this situation. And I'm looking for a breach of that structure or a rejection from that structure being resistance and coming back down and taking a quick shoot and loot 1% profit. Now, I've not forgot about the 1-inch trade. Still pretty much no movement happening there. And the price is pulling away from my quote, so I'm going to go ahead and close that out, because if we get a big enough pullback now, I actually don't want to be involved in that. Now, because I closed that, it took off all my preset settings for that position. So now I have 1 inch at the 370 level. And I'm going to more than likely just take a quick profit on that. And so I'll set up a sell order. I'm going to sell 100% of what I actually hold, turn the take profit off, take the stop loss off. And since I did not fill the trade completely, I'm actually okay with go ahead and closing out for a profit. And so I click sell. You can see my sell order has been placed. and a portion of that got filled already. And so I'll be looking at approximately just over a 1.5% profit on this quick trade within around an hour's time. And the rest of my orders filled, and there, 1.5% profit real quick on the notification. Odds are this is going to do exactly what I anticipated. However, I did not have my full position in order to be able to scale out, and therefore I went ahead and took my profit. Now that's designed around my battle plan. Your battle plan may be completely different, but I have predetermined targets and I came away with a 1.69% profit, so I'm not complaining. And so it turns out while I'm editing the video, I get to the end and I apparently forgot to put an ending to the video. So before I do, if you want to take a look at what actually happened with 1inch over the last few hours, it has moved up right into that target zone that I thought would be resistance, and that's exactly what it's been. It moved up, sold off. It's moving up there again. We'll see if it breaks, but overall, I'm happy with the profit that I did capture on the trade. Now, you might be asking what happened with the ETH trade. Let me grab that screen. And so on the ETH trade that I was looking to do shoot and loot on, I was looking for a breach of the 1600 resistance level. I got that breach. I got a quick shoot and loot 1% profit. As you see, it actually continued to push up, but I don't play in ifs or buts. I take my profit and I regroup and redeploy. And with that all being said, there's been quite a few targets I've taken shots at today. I will mention today's a Saturday, so yes, I am still trading on a Saturday. You take advantage of the opportunities when they're presented, and I've knocked down a few good targets. And I do plan on making more of these videos based around my live day trading strategies. So now would be a good time to shoot that subscribe button. Also, leave a comment down below if you like to see these type of videos or any other type of video as it applies to day trading, crypto, or bot trading, whatever. Just leave those comments down below. And also, if you like this video, do me a favor, spike a like. And in closing, remember, never send your money into battle without first doing your recon. See you in the next video.